lasted a whole 40 seconds. And when the rumbling ceased, when the rocking stopped and the smoke and dust cleared, 181 people were dead. The CBD was destroyed and parts of the city damaged beyond repair. But how could it be that one building accounted for more than 2/3 of those deaths? Some people believe the CTV building collapse was an act of God, but now there's a disturbing view. It possibly could have been human failure. 6 months after the calamity, Dominic Schwartz of Australia's ABC was allowed back into the red zone. These are the opinions and perspectives she encountered.
This is not the way Mayor Bob Parker ever expected to enter his city.
ABC team going in.
But a series of powerful earthquakes since September has made this the new normal in Christchurch.
Dominic Schwartz, that's great.
I've been to war zones in Africa, Afghanistan, the Middle East. Christchurch's red zone is every bit as disturbing.
It looks like it's been under sustained rocket and artillery fire for some time, and our people have been hammered.
Up to half of the CBD will be demolished. The city's deadliest quake site, the CTV building, has already disappeared. But not the ghosts of the 116 people who died here.
By the time I got here, there was the collapsed building. The lift shaft was still standing, and crawling over the smoking ruins of the rubble were just piles of rescuers. The USAR teams were here. They were pulling people out, not always alive, and it was a terrible... Well, it's just a nightmare for anybody in the city. I think this is where the nightmare probably reaches its most intense.
It was like the end of the world to me. It was absolutely shocking. I'll never forget it.
You've signed this off?
Yeah.
Mary Ann Jackson is the receptionist for Canterbury Television.
No, that's good.
The regional broadcast station occupied the first 2 levels of the 6-storey CTV building. Of the 17 television staff inside when the quake hit, only Mary Ann made it out alive.
I was on the ground floor, and the studio was on the ground floor as well, but at the time of the earthquake, everyone was upstairs on the first floor except myself.
Now, there's a free sausage sizzle. We like that, don't we?
Matthew Beaumont was the station's program scheduler and web manager, but he'd played most roles at CTV.
Who is Miley Cyrus's father?
He was an all-rounder and a showman.
That's cops 1, dumbass criminal 0.
He was last seen in his office 10 minutes before his world imploded.
Well, he was a special guy. And all fathers would say that, but he was very sincere, humorous, loved a joke, gentle, touch of naive with him, which makes him something special in my eyes, because if you're naive, you're open to the wonders of the world. He was just a special guy.
Also in the CTV building that day was Pamela Bryan, a police officer in the Child Protection Unit. She was visiting the clinic on the 4th floor.
She had a marvellous technique with babies. And that's been said by a lot of people. By that time they came around, they couldn't get their own children to sleep. She'd get them, cuddle them and what have you. And she'll never experience that with her own grandchildren.
But on the morning of February the 22nd, no one could have imagined the horror that lay ahead.
Well, it was a day that I'd been for lunch. I got back about 12:25, and just a normal day. We had filming in the studio.
Blue Monkey is going on a trip.
We had let's go shopping, and we had good living. And Donna Manning was fronting both of them, and she was doing a great job.
And he's taking Blue Monkey with him.
Oh, you re-exporting it as a mod file?
Tom Hawker had been operating the studio camera for Donna Manning. He planned to eat in, but his colleague and girlfriend convinced him otherwise.
No, I had my lunch made that day. Penelope thought, well, why don't we just both go out and you can come with me for a walk and get my lunch. So I thought, oh, well, why not?
Hi, Steve. It's Emily from CTV. How are you?
Journalist Emily Cooper looked like being stuck inside for the day. Stories kept falling over.
Well, what is the hold-up? Because obviously they've got all the information they need if they were going to do it, you know, last week.
She asked Chief Reporter Sam Gibb for any ideas.
It's like, oh, well, there was a story I was actually going to get Reece to do it, but you're free, he's not. You go do it if you want. So I rang the lady, and I guess the guilt is that it so easily could have been Reece.
Reece Brookbanks was Emily Cooper's university friend. He'd been at CTV just a week. At 12:51 on February the 22nd, 2011, CTV stopped covering the news. It became the news.
At 12:51 this afternoon, a massive aftershock hit Christchurch. Officials say it was a 6.3 magnitude quake.
I was on the 5th floor of the CTV building. I was buried under part of the ceiling, and when I looked out, I saw that we were on the road and people were looking at us.
Right now behind me, the bulldozers are working to bring down the front of the CTV building, where it's believed a number of people are still trapped inside.
I don't think we can go past the fact that we may well be witnessing New Zealand's darkest day.
When the quake hit, I knew it was going to be, I knew it was bad.
The road's cracked.
For some reason, I just had this urge to get back. And I pretty much just ran back in bare feet.
Oh my God, that's the CTV building!
Shit, hell?
Oh my God!
Oh, shit.
I never, ever thought could have prepared myself for literally just a pile of rubble.
See, there's people, they're just taking people out there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Shit.
The noise was horrific. It was like the building was breaking up. I knew that, and I knew the others didn't have a chance to get out. The noise was like a jet plane. The staircase was right at the side. It was going in and out. All the glass, all the frontage of the building was coming in at me. And I thought, I've got to get out of here. And I just ran for it. And I was sort of going sideways as I was going out the door, and I was terrified the door wouldn't open, but it did.
And then I looked at the CTV building, and that started shaking. And unfortunately came down right in front of us within a matter of 12 seconds, I'd say.
It's the CTV building, about 10 minutes after the quake.
I still thought I was going to die as I was running out of the building. I thought the building is going to get me on the way, but I'll run as fast as I can. And luckily, the shoes I had on that day weren't too high, so I was lucky. And I just ran for it. But if I had stopped and got my bag or my jacket, I probably wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be.
It's a total demolition of that building.
I certainly did hear some sounds. And people yelling at help. But then what could you do? I mean, there's so much debris on top of them, unfortunately. What could you do?
Donna Manning's children waited by the rubble for a miracle. It never came.
Nobody needed to die in the CTV building. It's a horrible thing to say, but it should not have collapsed the way it did.
Rugby Park in suburban Christchurch is jumping. The February quake knocked out the city's main stadium, so the Canterbury Crusaders are training here. Structural engineer Barry Davidson has been called in to ensure the broadcast tower is strong and safe. 2 words he doesn't associate with the CTV building.
In a large earthquake, we would expect that there'll be a lot of damage, but people should be able to exit out of the building, down the stairs. So for it to collapse the way it did, either there was a design failure or a construction failure or both.
It's not possible that it could have just been an act of God?
No, no. Well, because most of the buildings that were designed well and modern buildings are still up, and which proves the point that if you design to sort of the New Zealand philosophy is that you can have very big earthquakes and they still stand up, so they don't collapse. Yeah, well, the bricks, we know they always bust and are so stiff.
As a former lecturer and past president of New Zealand's Structural Engineering Society, Barry Davidson has given plenty of talks on seismic building failures.
That's a catastrophic failure. You know, if you were nearby, you'd be dead.
He used to use examples from Turkey and Mexico. Now he's got them on his doorstep.
If something good turns up out of the Christchurch earthquakes, it might be that the people of Christchurch are going to be asking some big hard questions and maybe forcing the government of the day, and I'm not picking on this particular government or any other one, to tighten up the rules.
OK, so no one needed to die in the CTV building. That's a professional opinion, inflaming feelings for families and friends of the victims.
Well, someone needs to be accountable because all those gorgeous people lost their lives.
116 good people in that building, going about their daily business. Too right. They've got to be accountable.
Welcome back. 116 people died when the CTV building collapsed in the Christchurch quake. But now a structural engineer is suggesting no one needed to die, that the building should not have collapsed the way it did. Well, that opinion, understandably, has grieving families demanding accountability. Families of 50 quake victims are joining forces to seek answers and justice.
I want someone's ass busted over this and held accountable. I think jail would be very nice. See what it's like to be lonely. Let the pricks suffer. Let them swing.
Lawyer Grant Cameron is leading the charge. He has first-hand experience of collapsing buildings. February's quake left him and his staff trapped on the 6th floor of the Forsyth Bar office block.
Bit of a drama knocking out the window and then sailing staff down the side of the building, but the stairwell's completely gone. 17 stories with just both sets of stairs gone.
So, does anybody like to start off with some questions or tell me how you feel?
Most people here lost loved ones in the CTV building. They wonder if it was structurally compromised by the first big quake in September.
As I understand it, people had serious concerns about the general safety. Were they relayed to that particular owner, and were any steps taken to get any engineering or other advice?
The owners of the building say the proper checks were carried out. David Beaumont would like to see the paperwork.
Is there a central database as to the engineers who carried out those inspections, and is there a database as to the quality of those inspections?
Jeff Bryan also has questions.
I smell a rat here because I think there's something that's being covered up here.
He's haunted by thoughts of the fire that ripped through the CTV ruins and his wife Pamela's last moments.
No one wants to hear that their wife's been char-grilled. How blunt's that? And to never see your wife again. Like, if, for example, if you had a heart attack now, You get put in a coffin, you close the lid, you see the person, you kiss them goodbye, all that sort of stuff. But there was none of that resolved there because there was nothing to kiss goodbye. Someone's got to be accountable. 116 good people in that building, going about their daily business. Too right, they've got to be accountable.
He does look like a bit of a character.
Yeah, he was always a personality.
David Beaumont is looking for reasons rather than retribution to reconcile the loss of his son Matthew, the bright-eyed boy he and wife Jeanette first met in the Greymouth orphanage.
And I thought, does it happen in the first few weeks? Does it happen in the first few months? Or when would that kind of bond come? And I walked in there, looked over, and that was my son, just like that. Because even at 2 weeks old, he'd chosen us as much as we chose him. Yeah.
Right, can I show it? So always been a fan.
Matthew was a Doctor Who fanatic. His fiancée was a fellow traveller.
Although our relationship was brief, it was wonderful, perfect and amazing.
But instead of a marriage in November, Kelly Thorndicroft got a memorial in June.
Reasons tell me that you and I are unlikely to meet again, but I think I shall not listen to reason. I've seen the world inside your head and know that all things are possible. Godspeed, my angel.
You could go on forever just trying to find blame or something, but it's not going to bring anybody back. All you want to do is try and make the situation in the future as safe as you can.
Mayor Bob Parker says striving for a safe city is not just an option, it's an imperative.
181 people, in essence, perished on my watch. And like everybody, I want those answers. We need to know what happened here. I'm not looking for a witch hunt.
He says the Royal Commission will be crucial in laying the foundations for a new Christchurch. But Auckland-based engineer John Scarry fears a rebuilt Christchurch will be no safer.
Almost certainly, seismically deficient buildings will be designed and rebuilt. This is my open letter of 2002, 150-page report.
9 years ago, he warned about the parlous state of structural engineering and construction in New Zealand. His report led to a review of the Building Act, but he says little effective change.
I could write a new open letter today, just starting from 2003. Things haven't improved, they've got worse. Another engineer found there were problems in it.
He says the industry is headed for total collapse, with no proper skills training and councils stripped of their technical staff.
Do you think the Christchurch earthquake is a wake-up call for the nation?
Yes, but no one seems to be paying any attention.
We're giving people an option to get out of there because it's an uncomfortable place to live.
Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee concedes it often takes tragedy to spark action.
One of the things that always worries us is that it takes tragedies to get royal commissions to give us advice that we probably should have been seeking anyway.
I went along today to take a closer look and ask what the future is for this iconic Christchurch building.
When it comes to recovery, Canterbury Television is showing the way. CTV was back on air within 8 weeks of the quake, despite having lost half of its staff as well as its part owner and managing director.
Thank you. See you soon.
Once that goes out the door, you can open it.
It was a race against time to get the first news bulletin couriered to Auckland on a USB stick for play-out back to Christchurch.
This is gold, gold, gold.
It was no small triumph.
You can't go through something as massive as this, a majority of people would never go through something in their whole lives like this. So it can't not change you as a person. I want to be a better person, and I want to have the best career and life I possibly can for the amazing people that lost their lives.
CTV does not have a guaranteed future. Neither does the city. But both are standing their ground, which in shaky Christchurch is more than a start.
Very true. Well, the Royal Commission is asking hard questions about what happened and why buildings collapsed in the earthquake. The CTV building is a key focus, but the Commission will not determine liability. Meanwhile, we are staying across the story, and of course we will keep you updated. Up next,